Has it ever happened that before starting any task, you hear a voice from within your mind? I can't do it. I am not worthy of this. The truth is, most people in the world do not fail because they lack capability, but rather because they do not believe in themselves. Imagine if you woke up one morning and had absolute faith in yourself. You knew that no matter how difficult things got, you would be able to overcome them. It is that very belief that turns an ordinary person into someone extraordinary. History is a witness that every great success begins with self-belief or self-confidence. But friends, the question is, if you don't have faith in yourself right now, how do you build it? You are going to get the answer to this question in this video. Today, we are about to embark on a powerful mindset journey that will teach you how to eliminate your inner doubts, how to stop negative self-talk, how to build confidence from small victories, how to escape the trap of comparison, and how to program your mind for success. In this video, you will learn why keeping the promises you make to yourself strengthens your confidence. Why is it important to be surrounded by positivity? Why is accepting imperfection the biggest stepping stone to progress? And how visualization trains your brain to spot opportunities. If you understand these principles and apply them to your life, your mindset will gradually begin to change. And that mindset can turn you into the person you have always wanted to be. So, be sure to watch this video until the end because every idea is a new key to strengthening your self-confidence. And if you want to learn such powerful book summaries and life-changing ideas that can improve both your thinking and your life, then subscribe to the Bookpedia channel right now and don't forget to press the bell icon so that every new video reaches you first. Chapter 1. Stop Negative Self-Talk. Friends, have you ever noticed that the fastest and most constant voice in our lives doesn't come from the outside, but from inside our own brains? It is that inner voice that whispers in every difficult moment, "You can't do this. You are not ready for this. You are not good enough." And the strange thing is, we accept these words as the truth, without even realizing that this is just a thought, not a fact. Imagine if a person came to you every morning and repeatedly told you that you are weak, you will fail, you are good for nothing. Slowly, your self-confidence would start to shatter. But the biggest truth is, most of the time, no one else is doing this to us. We are doing it to ourselves. This negative self-talk gradually makes our brains believe that we are truly not capable enough. Imagine a small example. A student is preparing for an exam. The book is open in front of him, but only one voice is echoing in his head. "I have always been an average student. It is impossible for me to top the class." Now, no matter how hard he works, his inner doubt will never allow him to try with his full potential. Because when the mind gives up beforehand, the body just follows. But there is a powerful truth hidden here. Our thoughts shape our future. In psychology, this is called a self-fulfilling prophecy. This means that if you repeatedly tell your brain that you cannot do it, your brain will start working in that direction. And if you start changing your thoughts, your reality will gradually begin to change as well. Now the question is, how do you break this negative loop? The first step is awareness. Whenever the thought "I can't" enters your mind, catch it. Ask yourself, is this really a fact or just the voice of fear? Often, you will realize that it has just become a habit. Then slowly start replacing or changing that thought. If your mind says, "I am very bad at this," tell yourself, "I am learning now, I will get better with practice." This is not some fake positivity. This is a realistic mindset that makes improvement possible. Remember, self-confidence is not born suddenly. It is built through small changes in your thoughts. Every time you challenge negative self-talk, you send a new message to your mind that you are not one to give up. Gradually, the very mind that used to hold you back becomes your biggest supporter. And when your inner voice changes, the entire course of your life begins to change. Because the real victory is not outside. First and foremost, it happens inside our minds. Chapter 2. Remember past wins. Have you ever noticed that our brains work in a very strange way? We remember our mistakes very quickly, but we often forget our victories. A small failure torments us for days, but a major achievement sometimes fades from our memory within moments. This is why we often feel like we haven't achieved anything significant in life, but the truth is entirely different. Imagine watching the last few years of your life like a movie. You would remember so many moments when, despite being scared, you took a step forward. Maybe it was your first interview, your heart was pounding, but you still walked into the room. Maybe it was a difficult project that seemed impossible at first, but in the end, you completed it. Or maybe it was a personal struggle that you overcame to reach where you are today. But the brain has a habit. It highlights the moments where we stumbled and ignores the moments where we won. This is why often when a new challenge arises, a voice inside us asks, "Can I really do this?" At that moment, we don't even remember our past victories. Imagine if you had a list containing all your big and small wins, that day when you conquered a fear, that moment when you proved yourself, or that time when instead of giving up, you took one more step forward. Whenever doubt enters your life, just open that list. Suddenly you will feel that you have crossed difficult paths before. In reality, confidence is not a magical feeling. It is built on evidence. When your mind repeatedly sees that you have faced challenges before, it slowly starts to believe that you can do it in the future too. This process is very simple but incredibly powerful. Many successful people follow a simple habit. They write down their achievements, no matter how small they are, because every small victory is proof that you are capable. And as these pieces of evidence start piling up, a silent self-confidence begins to build within you. Slowly, your mind understands that failure is not the end. Rather, it is a part of the journey. And victory is not only found in big moments, but in every moment when you move forward despite fear. The next time you feel you are not ready for a challenge, pause for a moment and remember your past. You will realize that you have crossed many such paths before that seemed impossible at the time. And those memories will give you the belief that if you could win then, you can win today. Chapter 3. Set small, achievable goals. Have you ever wondered why we often get scared just by looking at our dreams? When we think of a big goal, a successful career, financial freedom, or an attractive personality, the dream seems so huge that the brain immediately says, "This is beyond my reach." And this is where the journey ends before it even begins. But the real secret is that no great success is built in a day. It is made up of a long chain of small steps. Imagine you are standing in front of a tall mountain. The peak is covered in fog and you feel that reaching there is impossible. If you think about the entire climb all at once, you might not even take the first step. But if you only look at the next small step, just a few meters ahead, suddenly the path seems a bit easier. Life is exactly like that. When we break down a big goal into small, achievable steps, the mind gets a clear direction. After every small step is completed, the brain receives a signal. "I have done this." And these small wins gradually build a strong self-confidence. An interesting fact is that whenever we achieve a goal, no matter how small, our brain releases dopamine. This is the chemical that gives us the feeling of motivation and happiness. So when you complete a small task, like waking up early in the morning, reading for 20 minutes, or exercising daily, your brain rewards you. And this reward gives you the energy to take the next step. Many people think that confidence will come first, and then action will follow. But the reality is the exact opposite. Action comes first, and then confidence is built. When you fulfill a small goal, a silent voice is born inside you. "If I can do this, maybe I can do the next step too." Look at a simple example. If someone sets a goal to read 100 pages every day, they might give up after 2 or 3 days. But if that person aims to read just 10 pages a day, they can easily start. And the funny thing is, often they end up reading more than 10 pages, because starting is the hardest part. This principle works in every field: fitness, learning, career, and even personal growth. When you consistently achieve small goals, a momentum builds up inside you. And momentum is that invisible force that helps you keep moving forward. Gradually, those small steps cover a long distance. And one day when you look back, you will realize that you have reached very close to the peak you once thought was impossible. So don't be intimidated by your dreams. Break them down into small steps. Because the beginning of every great victory is always through a small but courageous step. Chapter 4. Stop comparing yourself. Imagine for a moment, you open your phone. You start scrolling through social media, and within seconds you feel that everyone else in the world is living a better life than you. Someone is buying a new car. Someone is on a dream vacation. Someone is celebrating a big success. Slowly, a strange thought begins to arise in your mind. Maybe I have fallen behind. Maybe I am not good enough. This is the trap of comparison. It is so silent and dangerous that we don't even realize it, and our self-confidence starts depleting. We look at the highlight reel of other people's lives and start comparing it with our real lives. But there is a powerful truth hidden here. Everyone's journey is different. Some start early, some start a bit late. Some have more resources, while others have to start from zero. If you compare two different paths, it will always create confusion. Think of a short story. Two people set off for their destinations from the same city. One takes the highway, the other takes the mountain road. The person on the highway reaches quickly, but the person on the mountain road sees beautiful scenery along the way, faces challenges, and gains a different experience. If the person on the mountain road starts comparing himself to the person on the highway, he will always feel like he is lagging behind. But truthfully, their journeys are different. Life is exactly like that. When you compare yourself to others, you neglect the value of your own unique journey. And slowly your mind starts believing that you are weak. But in reality, this is not the case. There is a concept in psychology called the comparison trap. This means the more you compare your life with others, the more your satisfaction will decrease because there will always be someone ahead of you. But if you must compare, do it in the right direction. Ask yourself, am I better today than the person I was yesterday? Have I learned something new compared to last year? Have I become a little more confident than before? When the focus shifts from the outside to the inside, growth begins. Because at that time, your competition is not with anyone else but with your own older version. And this is the most powerful competition. There is no jealousy in it, no pressure. There is only progress. Remember, there is no journey in the world quite like yours. Your struggle, your pace, and your victory, everything is completely unique. So whenever the thought of comparison arises, remind yourself, your path is uniquely yours. And when you continue walking on your path with complete honesty, one day that very road will take you to a place you once dreamed of reaching. Chapter 5. Keep promises to yourself. Have you ever noticed that we try our hardest to keep the promises we make to others? But when it comes to promises made to ourselves, we often take them lightly. When going to sleep at night, we think, from tomorrow I will wake up early. I will start exercising tomorrow. I will work with focus tomorrow. But the next morning the alarm rings, and within seconds our mind convinces us, not today, I'll start tomorrow. At first glance, this might seem like a very small issue. But slowly, this small habit starts weakening our self-confidence from the inside. Because every time we break our word to ourselves, our mind records a silent message. My words have no value. Imagine if a friend repeatedly made promises to you and broke them every time. Would you still trust them? Probably not. You would gradually stop taking their words seriously. The exact same thing happens to us. The only difference is, here we are losing not someone else's, but our own trust. And the foundation of self-confidence is built on this very trust. When your mind sees that you do what you say, a strong self-confidence is forged within you. But when words and actions misalign, doubt slowly starts to grow. Imagine a common scenario. You told yourself that you would read for just 20 minutes today. It is not a huge task, but if you keep this small promise, your mind gets a signal. I can keep my word. And this small victory plants the seed of discipline inside you. Many people think that self-confidence comes from a big achievement. But in reality, confidence is built from small daily promises. Waking up on time in the morning, following a daily routine, and consistently working towards your goals. These are the small habits that gradually build a strong personality. There is an interesting point here. When you consistently keep your promises, your brain starts to recognize a pattern. It understands that when you set a goal, you fulfill it. And this pattern makes future big challenges easier too. However, the beginning should always be small. If you make very big promises to yourself, like suddenly studying for 5 hours a day or changing your life overnight, you are likely to get exhausted very quickly. But if you start with small, realistic promises, maintaining consistency becomes easier. Gradually, this consistency turns into momentum, and one day you realize that you have become much more disciplined, focused, and confident than before. Remember, the most important relationship in the world is the one you have with yourself. If you can trust yourself, no challenge will seem too big. So make a simple rule from today. Promise yourself only as much as you can keep. And then, no matter how small it is, fulfill it. Because when you learn to respect your own words, the world starts respecting your words too. Chapter 6. Surround yourself with positivity. Think about the people around you for a moment. The people you spend time with every day, the people you talk to, the people you listen to. Have you ever felt that slowly their thoughts start taking up space in your brain as well? If a person always complains, only sees problems in every situation, after a while that mindset starts creeping into us too. And if a person finds a ray of hope even in the most difficult situations, their energy makes us feel strong as well. Actually, humans are social creatures. We are deeply influenced by our environment. This is why our circle shapes our mindset. If you are among people who always say, "It is impossible, you can't do it, the world is too hard," slowly your mind will start thinking in that direction too. Imagine a short story. A young man wanted to chase his dreams, but the people around him always discouraged him. Someone would say, "This field is very risky." Another would say, "People like you cannot succeed in this." Slowly, doubt started growing inside him. He began shrinking his dreams because he started feeling that maybe everyone else was right. But one day he met a mentor who told him just one thing: "Your dream is not wrong. You just need the right environment." That single positive voice awakened the dormant hope within him. Slowly, he started choosing to surround himself with people who encouraged him. And a few years later, that same boy reached a place that was once called impossible. This story is not just about one person. It can be the reality for all of us. Because positivity doesn't just come from motivational quotes, but from the energy created by the people around us. There is an interesting concept in psychology called emotional contagion. This means that emotions also spread from one person to another. If you are surrounded by negative energy, that energy slowly impacts your mindset too. But if you spend time with people who talk about growth, learning, and possibilities, your mind also starts thinking on that same frequency. This doesn't mean you have to break off your old relationships, but it definitely means you have to consciously decide whose voice you will give space to in your mind. Today, positivity can be found not just from people, but also from books, podcasts, and inspirational content. When you constantly fill your mind with positive ideas, your perspective gradually begins to change. Remember, no matter how strong a seed is, if it is planted in bad soil, it cannot fully grow. But if that same seed falls into the right environment, it can grow into a massive tree. People are exactly like that. When you surround yourself with positivity, your self-confidence, your vision, and your energy slowly start to change. The roads remain the same, but your perspective of seeing them becomes completely new. Chapter 7. Accept imperfection. Have you ever felt that you shouldn't even start a task until everything is perfect? Many people cannot even start their dream projects because they fear making a mistake, fearing that people might judge them, fearing that the results might not meet expectations. Slowly, this fear becomes so big that people stop before they even try. But think about it, if every successful person in the world had only waited for perfection, perhaps no great discovery, invention, or achievement would have ever come before us today. Because behind every great success lies countless mistakes. Imagine a short story. There was a painter who wanted to paint his first picture. He prepared the canvas, bought the paints. But every time he picked up the brush, only one thought came to his mind: what if this isn't perfect? And because of this fear, weeks passed by, but the canvas remained blank. Then one day his mentor told him, "You are trying to paint a perfect picture, which is why you can't even start. First, paint an imperfect picture. Perfection will come later." That day, without overthinking, he moved his brush for the first time. The picture wasn't perfect, but it was a start, and that imperfect start eventually became the foundation of his greatest work. Actually, imperfection is not a weakness, but the first step towards improvement. It is only when you make mistakes that you realize what works and what doesn't. Every mistake brings a lesson. In psychology, this is called a growth mindset. This means those who view their mistakes not as failures, but as learning opportunities, continue to improve constantly. They fall, they learn, then they stand up and keep moving forward. But those who are always chasing perfection often fear taking action in the first place. Because to them, every mistake becomes a personal defeat, and this fear keeps them away from progress. The truth is, no one in the world is perfect. Every successful person's journey involves struggles, failures, and countless experiments. The only difference is that those people accept their imperfections. When you give yourself the permission that, "I don't have to be perfect every time," a strange kind of mental pressure is lifted from within you. Then you start working or taking action freely. And action is the very thing that strengthens both confidence and skill. Remember, an imperfect action is always much more powerful than a perfect intention. Because intention remains limited to thoughts, but action changes reality. So the next time the thought comes to your mind that everything must be perfect, remind yourself, perfection is not a starting point. It is a journey built through continuous effort and learning. And often, it is those people who go the furthest who are not afraid to start imperfectly. Because they know that real improvement always begins through imperfect steps. Chapter 8, Visualize Success. Have you ever noticed that when you think about an important moment, like giving a presentation, facing an interview, or achieving a major goal, your mind starts weaving various stories beforehand? Often, these stories are surrounded by fear. The mind starts imagining that something might go wrong, that people might laugh, that we might fail. And slowly, this imaginary fear starts feeling so real that our confidence begins to drop. But the interesting thing is, our brain takes imagination very seriously. The brain cannot always distinguish between whether what you are imagining is actually happening or if it is just playing inside your head. And this is exactly why visualization becomes a highly powerful mental tool. Imagine an athlete preparing for a major competition. They don't just practice physically, but every day they close their eyes for a few minutes and imagine their perfect performance. They see themselves feeling confident. They see themselves executing every move smoothly, and finally they experience the moment of victory. This isn't just daydreaming, this is brain training. Research has shown that when we clearly visualize an action, many parts of our brain activate in the exact same way as they do during the actual task. In other words, your mind is rehearsing for that moment in advance. But visualization isn't just for athletes or performers. It is beneficial for anyone who is serious about their life goals. Because when you create a clear picture of success in your mind, your brain starts noticing opportunities leading in that direction. Think of a small example. If you are thinking of buying a new phone, suddenly you start seeing that exact same phone everywhere around you. In ads, in people's hands, in shops. This happens because your brain starts focusing on that particular thing. This exact same principle applies to success. When you repeatedly visualize your goals, your mind automatically starts recognizing the actions and opportunities that bring you closer to that goal. However, there is an important rule to visualization. Just imagining the result is not enough. You also have to feel the journey. See yourself working hard, envision facing challenges, and imagine overcoming every obstacle. This mentally prepares your mind for the future reality. Gradually, a silent belief begins to build inside you that the very thing you are repeatedly seeing in your mind can one day become reality. Remember, every great creation is made twice. First in the mind and second in reality. If there is no picture of success in your mind, it becomes difficult to create it in reality. So sometimes, pause for a moment, close your eyes, and visualize your future. See that version of yourself that is confident, focused, and has reached very close to their goals. Because often, the biggest changes in our lives begin in the world of our imagination long before we take any action. Sometimes the biggest changes in life do not start on the outside, but within us. And this change doesn't arise from a major event, but from small shifts in our way of thinking. The very moment a person begins to understand their inner voice, when they recognize their negative thoughts and try to change them, their journey truly begins. Because the real fight is not with the world, but with our own doubts. Imagine if a person learns to control their mind. If they remember their past victories, break their goals down into small and achievable steps, escape the trap of comparison, and understand the value of their own words, their life slowly begins to change. Because self-confidence is not built suddenly. It is forged through daily habits and consistent action. We often think that successful people are different from us. But the truth is, they have the exact same fears, struggles, and doubts that we all have. The only difference is that they do not let those doubts become a wall in their path. They treat them as challenges and try to become a little better every single day. When you create positivity around you, your mind starts seeing paths to new possibilities. When you accept imperfection, you start acting freely. And when you visualize your future, your brain slowly starts working in that direction. This entire journey is not like an overnight miracle. It is a slow process. Just like a seed slowly grows beneath the soil. Initially, you might not see much of a change, but if you consistently work on your mindset, one day that seed turns into a strong tree. Remember, self-belief is not a gift that some people are born with. It is a skill that anyone can acquire. And when this skill is developed within you, life's challenges no longer seem as frightening as they used to. Maybe today you are at the very beginning of your journey. Maybe you still have a lot of doubts in your mind. But every great change begins with one small decision, the decision to trust yourself. And when a person truly learns to believe in themselves, no obstacle in the world can hold them back for long. Because at that time, their greatest strength lies not in anything external, but deep within their own mind. Perhaps this is why it is said, When a person learns to believe in themselves, their possibilities become just as big as their dreams.